2024 Yamaha R3 bLUcRU World Cup passed its halfway mark with the fourth staging of the UK round. And the pace at historic Donington Park was red hot right from the start of the weekend. Shoma Yamane beating last year's fastest time, the R3 lap record, by 0.7 of a second to claim his second consecutive pole. But once race one started below much greyer skies, the 17-year-old Japanese youngster dropped back swiftly. Instead, it was last year's European number 4, Mark Vick, who hit the front on the number 96. And Yamane caused the field to fracture at the end of lap 2, when he almost came to a halt on the racing line, saving a major sideways moment at Goddard's in deteriorating weather conditions, the top 6 ahead of him escaping over a second away. Good fortune then for the riders from 7th place down, as race direction brought out a red flag after 3 laps for a change onto wet weather tyres, giving us a fresh race start with a new look grid based on positions at the time of the stoppage. With a reduced race distance of only 5 laps and rain still in the air, all 16 riders were more combative right from lights out at the restart. New pole sitter Mark Vick determinedly blocking out his 2 closest rivals from the front row going into Redgate and holding the lead at the second time of asking. The same 6 riders established themselves at the front of the field again, but this time it was David Novak rather than Vick who took control of the race. The pole on the familiar number 46, passing the Mallorcan at the Craner curves and leading each of the opening 4 laps over the line. Meanwhile, Catalunya round podium finisher Nicolas Zanin proved just how treacherous conditions still were as he ran off at the old hairpin and cost himself the chance of adding to his 2024 points tally. Having climbed from 8th to 6th at the first attempt, number 16 Takumi Takahashi made further progress in the restart. The Japanese youngster, recently announced among a trio of R3 Cup participants heading to the VR46 Master Camp in August, climbed as high as 2nd on the opening lap. Hopes of matching his Dutch round podium exploits, though, were short-lived. He gradually tumbled backwards through the lead group and on lap 3 finally dropped out of contention as he slipped to 6th place and lost over a second to the leaders. Gonzalo Sanchez pushing his way through into 5th on the number 23 on the exit of Redgate. But that was as high as championship leader Sanchez would climb. A mistake at the start of the penultimate lap, detaching him from the top 4, and for only the second time this season, he was left outside of the rostrum places. Meanwhile at the front, with the track quickly drying, David Novak was a second faster on lap 3 than on his previous tour and appeared to have control of the race. But the 69 Alessandro Di Persio had other ideas. The reigning Italian R3 Cup winner, impressing on his first visit to Donington Park, set the fastest lap of the race on lap 4, and on the final lap he stormed through on David Novak into the Fogarty S's, Mark Vick following him and into 2nd place. Novak, in his 38th R3 start and still chasing a first victory after 2nd and 3rd places in Barcelona and Assen, cut down the inside into the Melbourne hairpin to go from 3rd to 1st, missing the apex and impeding Di Persio in the process. Vick, in the middle of the pair on the entry to the bend, turned back to propel himself to the front and successfully defended top spot for his 4th bLUcRU win and his 2nd of the season. Novak maintained his inside line through Goddard's to finish a valiant 2nd, Di Persio nonetheless securing back-to-back podium finishes.
This race was really crazy because it was wet, then dry, wet, dry. So I managed the calm and I keep going and finally I got it.
In the best weather of the entire UK round, with the sun shining, race 2 got underway at Donington Park. Race 1 winner Mark Vick started in only 6th position, leaving him buried in a close fight on the opening lap, while his championship rival Gonzalo Sanchez started directly ahead of him on the front row and burst through to lead. The main change to the pecking order in dry conditions saw David Novak struggle for speed on Sunday afternoon, and as the pole on the number 46 dropped through the order, he held back the pace of the pack, in particular impeding Vick through the old hairpin. Novak, runner-up in race 1, would finish only 8th in race 2. Number 96, Mark Vick, half a second behind the podium places at the end of the opening lap, put in a superb individual effort on lap 2, recovering to make a lead group of 4 and then bursting through to the front as he made his bid for back-to-back victories at the circuit where he also took his first career win in 2023. Vic led 4 laps over the line, and each time he was challenged, immediately surged back to the front in a confident display. As well as Gonzalo Sanchez, Vic's early rival was Eduardo Burr, a podium finisher at each of the opening 2 rounds. But on lap 3, whilst attacking for the lead through the Fogarty S's, the Brazilian lost control and momentum, slipping from 2nd to 4th, and he ultimately came home in P7. With 3 laps to go, Gonzalo Sanchez made his move back to the front. The 15-year-old, without a win since race 1 in Misano, swept across the path of Marc Vic into the Melbourne hairpin, the slowest corner of the season. Mario Sales, best of the rest in race 1 with 6th, was this time in podium contention, making a late move from 5th to 3rd. Sales, who'd set a new lap record earlier in the race, then made it to the front, passing the top 2 in the championship through McLean's and Coppice to hit the front down the Dunlop Straight. On the number 16, Takumi Takahashi also made impressive progress. The 16-year-old in his rookie World Cup season, after finishing 3rd in the JP250 class in his homeland and also appearing in the Thai bLUcRU Cup last year, was a podium finisher in Assen and looked set for another as he charged from 7th to 2nd on lap 9. Marc Vic continued to keep sight of Gonzalo Sanchez, the pair extending their race-long scrap into the final lap and exchanging places twice in the first sector alone. Vic around the outside of Sanchez through the Craner curves, Sanchez back through out the old hairpin. As he made the pass, Sanchez straightened up to use all of the circuit. Vic swerved to avoid him but ran off the track altogether, incurring an automatic 1-place penalty for exceeding track limits on the last lap. Both riders press forward into the podium places into the Fogarty S's, entering turn 9, 4th and 5th, exiting turn 10, 1st and 2nd. Mario Sales was also passed by Alessandro Di Persio and relegated outside of the podium places altogether. And Di Persio was now well placed to challenge for his 3rd consecutive podium and his first race win. Into the Melbourne Loop for the final time, Vic focused on championship rival Sanchez, which allowed Di Persio on the number 69 to sneak through for 2nd. Mario Sales, meanwhile, was crowded out by Japan's Yamane and Takahashi, leaving the Brazilian 6th, and Di Persio was promoted to top spot once Vic's penalty was applied.
Yeah, for me it's incredible. I'm very happy to stay here. Thank you to all my team, all my sponsors, Fayeta Motors. I'm very happy. I don't have words. So.
Just 5 points dropped for Marc Vic at the 2024 UK round, beating Gonzalo Sanchez twice to take 18 points out of his championship lead. Sanchez still leads by 10, thanks to his 4 victories in the opening 3 rounds. 4 races remain. The next round comes from Magny-Cours after the summer break in September.